Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. How are you guys doing? Thank you for checking out another video. I hope all is well on your end. But guys, imagine dying to your old self. You're no longer the person you were. We shouldn't be. Each day, we should be dying to our old self. I believe it's Paul who says he dies daily. So we die to our old self. But imagine your past doesn't understand that concept. They don't know what that means. And your past comes knocking and they think you're the same person. Whether it was 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago, however long ago. But they think you're the same old guy, the same old gal. And you've died to that person. Or you have this old friend who wants to talk about what you guys used to do in the past and it no longer resonates because you're not there anymore. Might not be anything bad. It could be anything. But you're not in that frequency anymore. And then they look at you as if you're crazy because you can no longer relate to what they're saying. Or they want to remind you of what you guys used to do when you were 16 years old or 20 years old. And you're now an adult. And you're not even in that frequency anymore. My God, imagine acting like a 16-year-old and you're well seasoned in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Imagine that. But your past does not understand you're no longer that same person. And sometimes you look at people and you're like, wow, they haven't even grown. Not in a good way. Like the same place you left them, vocabulary wise, spiritually wise, physically wise, they're still in the same frequency. No growth, no nothing. The same dry, stupid sense of humor. Like the jokes that you laughed at when you were 16, 20. Some things are not funny anymore. Some things we even laughed at back then is considered today inappropriate. Like, Dad, I can't even believe I said that or did that. And people want to hold you in that frequency. And you're not there. Sometimes you cut these people off. They can't understand why they're blocked, delete, cut. Because you no longer resonate. You don't even think like that anymore. You don't even behave like that anymore. Heck, you don't even walk like that anymore. Some people have all kinds of surgery, change their walk, change their stance. Knee replacement, you name it. Bunion surgery, you name it. So they're probably not even walking the same way anymore. So they're no longer in that frequency. And your past trying to locate you. And you're not even there. Sometimes you even relocate. They're trying to find you. And that person, that old you, been gone. Your DOA. That old you is no longer there. Doesn't exist. And they can't understand it. They look at you and think you're weird. They think you're strange. And you look at them and you think they're weird. Because it's like, how can you still be in the same frequency? No judgment. But I know old colleagues of mine still out there partying. Die hard partying. Going on every trip, every party. Boat riding still. Don't miss a boat ride. Again, no judgment. If your knees can take it, knock yourself out. But they're in the same energy. Some of these people turning grandparents and they still want to, but bumping and grinding with the grandbaby in the hand. Imagine that. And you're no longer in that frequency. And you're actually happy that you're no longer in that frequency. And you look at them and you're like, wow. Now some of these people partying with their kids, I mean, hardcore partying, you know. One of my nieces said if she went to a party and see like one of her uncles or her aunts, she's leaving. She's leaving. She's like, this is when I exit. And this young lady's 20 something, mid 20s. And I said, rightfully so. Because she's like, imagine I'm in the club and I see auntie or uncle show up in the same club I'm in. She's like, I'm going to exit. By all means, you know, but it's just interesting when your past shows up and your past think you're the same person and you've died to that person and you're no longer there. You even look at yourself. Well, I look at myself, and when I came into my new self, at one time I look at myself and I didn't recognize myself. I'm like, who is this person? Before the light bulb came on. And, you know, I went through my awakening. This was some years ago, many years ago, before the pandemic. I was still working and I remember looking at myself. And somewhere along the way, I had lost myself. Ripping, running, working, hanging out, doing the most, being in the mix. And one day I was going by the mirror and I look at myself and I didn't recognize myself. And I'm like, who are you? Who is this person? Sometimes you lose yourself socializing, in the mix, hanging out, clubbing. You lose yourself. And I remember looking in the mirror again after the pandemic. And I see it was a new me again, a new person. And I'm like, wow. You know, so it's good. I'm glad I've died to my old self. I'm grateful to the Most High for that, for having him making the old insightful way go DOA. Yeah? Because sometimes we lose ourselves in our career. Wow, even in marriages, in our children, we can lose ourselves. You know? But the thing is when the light bulb goes off or on, it goes on, and you're no longer that old person who's interested in being in the know, being in the mix, you know, going to every job function or whatever it is. And you've evolved. And when you decline certain invitations, you know, people can't understand that you're no longer that old you. You no longer laugh to the same jokes. You see things differently. You're awakened to the system. You almost want to get out of the matrix because you're like, wow, this is some of this stuff going on in the world is too real. When you look around and you have some old colleagues, they're still, what they say, partying like it's 1999. Like it's 1999. Dancing away, I mean, dancing is good to a degree, but geez, you know. But it's good when you wake up and you see life in a different light. You see all the shenanigans going on in the world. You know, you don't just take everything the government says. You just don't take everything. You realize something ain't right here. There's more to the story. There's more going on in this world, you know, than just hanging out, smoking, drinking. Some of these people, like I said, they hanging out with their kids. I remember I saw a video or something a while ago where the grandmother took her granddaughter's wig and the granddaughter went berserk. And granny, you know, in her little tight, can't tell grandma nothing. I think this was in Jamaica, but she took the girl's wig and the granddaughter was livid because I guess she wanted the wig to go out, and here's grandma in the granddaughter's wig. Gone with the wig. Granddaughter looking for her wig. Grandma got the wig. Imagine that. Grandma still partying like it's 1999. You know, but like I said, your past, people in your past, they want to come knocking and you're no longer there. You're no longer there. And they don't get it. They're not even bright enough to just go away. Like I said, some people want to actually come, show up, knock. You don't answer the phone, they come in person. And for some of them, guess what? You've relocated. You're no longer there. You're literally no longer there. Like I said in one video I did, one old friend come knocking. This woman came from another state. When I block and delete this friend of me, the woman had the audacity to show up at my door. Some people really bright. My brother opened the door. Here she come busting through the house. My brother running behind, calling out my name, alerting me somebody's coming. This woman lived in another state. She was at my door. My past was at my door. I had to physically go into work mode and escort her, physically direct her out. When I tell people that story, they laugh. There's more to it, but they laugh. And people who know me can actually see me doing it. I escorted her. I said, which door did you come through? She pointed. I said, you're going back this way. This way. How are you going to roll up in somebody's house? So sometimes the past come knocking. Sometimes you're at that location. Sometimes God relocate you. And you'll only hear that somebody was looking for you at your old place. What they're looking for, I don't know. Guess they didn't get the memo when they get the block. If somebody's not answering your call, it's for a reason. It's for a reason. These are the same people when they get dumped, when the ex break out, sever it, move on, they show up at the person's job. They show up at the person's house. They didn't get the memo that you've been canceled, blocked, delete. They show up. These are the people who sit out of people at people's jobs, stalking them, just sitting out there. Because they can't take, I guess, rejection or get the memo that the door is closed. We close the door. But it's a blessing when the light bulb goes off and we come into who the Creator wants us to be. Yeah? We come into ourselves and we go DOA to the old self. because like Paula said before, see, we should die daily to our old selves. That means the things you used to do yesterday, you do no more. As we mature, we're no longer the same. Even thugs, for example, you have some people who are out there gang banging, doing their thing. Every time you turn around, they in some of the trouble, rolling around in the streets. Women too. I know a lot of women, not a lot, but I know a few women who are fighters. They'll lay hands on people. And they're still in that mindset though. But you have some who snap out of it and they don't roll around throwing up fists, wrestling with people in the streets. That's what they did in their younger years. As they mature and got older, they no longer run around in that frequency, yeah? But like I said, we should be dying daily to our old selves. You know, some of the things that I've done, said, I cringe when I think, you know, how rude I was. Not nice. You know, having foul mouth, that kind of thing. So it's good when the Most High, you know, take some of that old stuff out. You know what I mean? But the past, why you want to show up, I don't know. Like, how would anybody want to be around someone who doesn't want to be around them? Just the behavior alone. I don't think someone needs to write an essay, you know, and say, you know, you no longer resonate with me. I can't, you know, relate to you anymore. Why somebody needs to write an essay? Just get the message somehow, right? Sometimes people move on. And it's okay. When people move on, let them go. Don't come knocking on somebody's door, ringing down somebody's bell, sitting out by somebody's job. It's crazy. But anyway, guys, I'll catch you on another video. I'll talk to you soon, and I hope you enjoy your evening. Have a good one.